that notification button. Don't forget to share this video with your fellow veterans. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dwayne Kimball, United States Army veteran and retired VA rating specialist. This afternoon, myself and David Piatak, which he'll be in a couple of minutes, we are going to be discussing VA compensation and VA home loans. And David has some good information for you as it pertains to the interest rates on VA home loans. But until he comes in, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a couple of questions that we have. So before I take those questions, should already had this. If you hadn't picked up my new book, definitely go out, pick up the new book, VA Claim Success, your guide to maximizing your VA compensation benefits. I know that it has been a game changer for some veterans based on the feedback that I've received. So this month, December 2023, I am offering a 20% off. You can use the discount code VET20, VET20. Make sure you go to my website, www.kmd89.com, and pick up your signed copy. So let's go ahead and get into it. Lil Rock, go Monfret. Hope all is well. How you like them Tigers? They did pretty good this year, so they headed to a bowl game. All right, so the first question we got, LJ says 100% permanent total. Congrats, sir or miss. Open HLR for paying. Submitted signed letter and 2 0820s to withdraw claim within past 90 days. No response. Thoughts on why claim withdrawal not resolved yet. Things at the VA have been moving extremely slow. Okay. When veterans have said, Dwayne, I tried to do add a dependent or something like that, that is not a priority for the VA. I would call in 800-827-1000 and confirm that they've received that, okay? Because that way it will not go forward, meaning the high-level review. It shouldn't. And they should send you a letter saying that they received your request to withdraw that particular claim, okay? So definitely hope that helps. All right, next question. Carlos. Hi, I have my CMP exam for anxiety and insomnia secondary to my service-connected tinnitus, and the doctor told me you have everything documented and I always help the veterans. That's a good for me. I don't know, was that you said you had your CMP exam and that's what the examiner stated, or your primary care or your mental health provider, okay? But with that being said, when you go to these exams, especially as it pertains to secondary, you have to reasonably articulate, hey, this is what I'm claiming, this is what is due to the tinnitus, and have to explain why you have anxiety, why you have depression from it, okay? It could be many reasons, but only you, the veteran, can reasonably articulate that. All right. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed someone. I apologize. Stephen, greetings, Ms. Kimball. Good evening, Stephen. Thanks for the support. Joe, hello, everyone. I'm a local realtor in South Texas, and I do a lot of business for veterans when using a VA loan. Excited to hear this information. Okay, Joe Hernandez, definitely appreciate it. Where you at in South Texas? Brownsville, Laredo? You said South Texas, so I'm assuming below San Antonio, but I know Texas is pretty big. But thank you for the support, Joe. David, our VA home loan rep is having some internet issues, so hopefully he'll jump in shortly because he has some really good information he told me earlier about the interest rates that dropped. Okay. Oh, Josh, thanks for the support. Definitely appreciate it. What are the chances the VA rating gives a higher rating than the one that was recommended on the PTSD CMP DBQ? What would be some reasons? A, Josh, good question. When I was a rater, yes. So for a lot of you that don't know, I actually rated. The Department of Veterans Affairs trained me, and that's all I did was rate cases. Okay. So Josh, it's going to depend on what evidence is in your claims file besides that CMP exam. I actually granted, CMP exam came back at 50%, but the vet had additional evidence that allowed me to grant a 70%. Okay. So, Josh, is really going to come down to the evidence that's in your claims file, and does it fall under the 70% under the general rating schedule for mental conditions? Okay. But if there's no other evidence other than that CMP exam, then there's nothing else to go off of to justify or warrant a higher percentage. Just finished my CMP exam for anxiety. So, Golden, how did it go? Was it short? Did you ask questions? Did you take a DBQ with you and follow along with the CMP examiner? Kind of excited to see how that went. Twisted. I was told by a VA employee that if the NARSM does not mention that the condition could have a chance to improve, this means the VA considers that condition to be static and not planning future exams. Future exams are going to, routine future exams, what they call RFEs. That's going to be up to the rater to make that determination. Years ago, I would see routine future exams all the time when I was a VA employee. Now, I don't see them as much. Okay. I probably did a routine future a handful of times. Personally, I didn't like them because I wasn't a medical doctor. I wasn't a mental health provider. So who am I to say, hey, this condition could or could not improve? Okay. But that's one employee. I'm one former employee. Another employee could say something different. But you bring up a good point, Twisted. Everyone should know if that condition is static or not. Okay. And on my YouTube channel, I did a video on routine future exams. So it's an older video, but it's still relevant. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you go out and check that out. Okay. No service medical records, but PCP says all my symptoms are service related. Been out of service for 3 years. What should I do? Okay. So PCP is not a rater, and a rater is not a PCP. The PCP is under VHA, Veterans Healthcare Administration. Raters are under Veterans Benefit Administration. Those are the individuals that makes the decision. Now, they also enlist the expertise of a VA CMP examiner. Okay. So I see or hear PCPs tell the vets to do this, do that. It could be. Okay. If it falls under the 5 ways of service connection. Okay. So I want to say about 4 or 5 videos on the 5 ways of service connection. Josh, go out there, check that video out. I give an example of each one. Oh, here we go. We got David in here. Okay, let's bring him on in. There he is.
What's going on, Dwayne? How you doing?
Hey, not a problem. I just kicked it off without you, and I was just taking some questions and going right along. And I heard and I was like, okay, wait a minute, that's Dave. So yeah, thanks for joining us, Dave. Get those internet issues fixed. I think it's probably the cold weather up there, right? Frozen.
Well, I don't know. It wasn't too bad, but the electricity was off. The electrician was working on it. I'm like, I got a live event, people. Like, let's get it going. And then the internet. So, the beauty of home ownership, as I preach, it's the best time to buy. So that's what we did. And just kind of going through the rigmarole,
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me finish up this question here, Dave, and then we're going to bring you in because I know you got some good information. Then we'll get back to the Q&A. So, Josh, like I was saying, PCPs, primary care providers, are not raters and vice versa. Okay. Check out those videos, the 5 ways of service connection. And everybody, before you submit that claim, look at my video, 5 ways of service connection, because as a former rater, when I was adjudicating claims, that's what I looked at. One of the things I looked at to try to service connect the veteran. Okay. So, Dave, I know you got some good information. We got a realtor in here from Mr. Hernandez from South Texas, from West Laco. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that right. Texas. So he
Awesome.
says he's a realtor down there, and he's joined us this evening for Texas. And I was like, "Hey, Dave, got some good information. I don't want to spoil it. So, Dave, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to you and let all of us know that if we didn't purchase a home, what kind of
Uh,
boat we're in."
well, I'll tell you guys this right now, that interest rates are dropping, right? The Fed didn't change the rate. It looks like they're going to keep them steady or dropping them over the next year. So today was just a crazy day for interest rates. They were somewhat similar to like last week. So there's an opportunity, I think, that lies, especially in this time of the year, right? I'm always saying that this is the best, worst time to buy, where, hey, interest rates might be a little bit higher, but the thing is that the market right now is slow in certain areas, so you can take advantage of that. Now, because there's an outlook for rates dropping, it's some people might have missed that boat where they were going to be competitive, but then now they're not, right? Because when rates drop, values go up, and you kind of like you're kind of much doesn't change because the money that goes up, right, and interest rates. Where there is a good opportunity still right now is that if you bought 7 months ago or further out, and your interest rates are six and a quarter or over 7%, you can actually refinance right now with an interest rate reduction refinance loan and get into the high five or low sixes. So it's kind of crazy. So people can save a ton of money just by doing that. I guess it's like a treat for all the folks that purchased the property when rates were higher.
Okay. So, Dave, what does that look like possibly? And I know every case is a little bit different. But
Yeah.
one, let's start with the credit scores. What credit scores are you seeing that lenders are accepting when it comes to VA home loans?
Well, when it comes to credit score, I mean, you really can go down to 500, but then it creates some of its own challenges. Okay. Typically, you want to be at 620 or higher. And to get the best possible rates, really 680 or higher would be the kind of the where you kind of get the cream of the crop, the best interest rates. And
Okay.
so go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And then for those interest rate reduction refinance loans, you have to have made it has to be 210 days from the first time from you made your mortgage payment. So it's about 7 months. So if you've been making mortgage payments for 7 months, you're eligible for the interest rate reduction refinance loan. It makes it super nice because if you like when you buy a home, you have to like give a blood sample, all your tax, like there's a crazy amount of documents you need, an appraisal, everything just needs to be documented. But on these interest rate reduction refinance loans, it's all you need is to verify a source of income. Even if you have 10% VA disability, and that's like $180 a month, and your mortgage $3,000 a month, that's all they need to verify. Just that, a mortgage note, a couple mortgage statements, insurance, and your closing. So it's pretty crazy.
So, what about the closing costs? I look at my hopefully I get this right. Closing disclosure statement.
Yes, the CD, the closing disclosure. Yeah.
Right. So what are some of the options that you offer as it pertains to closing costs? Is there, opposed to going to, I would call it like a big box, like a
Yeah.
Loan Depot or something like that, where they try and hide some of those closing costs. What are some of the things that you may be offering as it pertains to VA home loan?
So the good thing is, that's a good question, and this is one that I'm a big uh, advocate for the veteran community. Obviously, both of us being veterans, is that the big box places charge crazy amount of fees, and guess what? They'll tell you that it's free, but what do? They roll the closing costs into the mortgage. That's why it's free, right? Remember, folks, nothing in life is free. You pay for it one way or another, right? So what we do from our end is that we don't charge origination fees or discount points unless a client wants to get a disc to pay for a discount point, right? So there's no hidden cost. You're just paying third party fees. Now, closing costs range across the country, right? If you're in Florida, one downside is that you have to pay transfer taxes again, right? So that's where you're going to pay a couple extra grand to do a transaction. Whereas, let's say in Illinois, it's about $1,000 or so to do it, right? So it just really depends on where you're at. Now, if you pay property taxes, you do have to reset up property taxes and insurance into your mortgage payment, which, there's some pros and cons. One, you get a refund from your current servicer for that amount. So you have extra money and you can skip up to 2 mortgage payments. So you can net out a good amount of money. Just really depends on your situation for the mortgage.
Okay.
On a
Man.
refinance, it's specifically for refinances.
Now, I know we had talked about, I think it was last month, where there was, I don't know if it was a bill or lawsuit or something, where if you were selling your home, your realtor, the other realtor, normally it's 3% for each one is 2. Whatever. I know you had talked about it. Can you explain that again and whatever happened to that? And
Yeah. So basically, what like the National Association of Realtors was sued along with like the top 5 brokerages in the country. And what happened is they took him to court and said that sellers offering buyer's agent a co-op, right? Because they get paid a co-op for bringing a client, was said that it shouldn't be mandatory for sellers to do. And they won the case. And basically, what has happened, or the lawsuit basically states that if a veteran, so let me back up a second. So, like, let's say you want to go buy a house. Traditionally, your agent would get paid by the seller's agent a co-op fee for using their services, basically. So, in theory, you didn't have to pay out of your own pocket, but it wasn't free. The sellers paid for it. So now what has happened is that they're saying that, well, since a no co-op has to be paid, people have to start paying agents to use them for their service. So as a buyer, I would have to front the fee to the buyer's agent. So a couple of things I think are going to happen. One, off the bat, if you're worried about it as a veteran, you shouldn't, because if you're using the VA home loan, it's illegal to be charged any fees by the realtor. You must they must either be paid for by the sellers or the lender, but that lender's not going to do it because they would have to charge you crazy interest rates to give you a credit to do that. That doesn't make sense. So, the challenge, I think, overall, Dwayne, and for everyone out there listening, is that the industry is already has some challenges because limited inventory, values are high. Uh, you know, People don't just have an extra $10,000 to $25,000 laying around to pay someone for those services. And so, but again, as veterans, you don't have to pay that fee to an agent. But
okay,
then
cool.
it could also create a separate issues where agents might not be willing to help veterans in that journey because of that. So that's why this coming year, with everything I'm doing, is just creating more education for the veteran community to be able to do things, because it's not really hard. Most of it's, you bought a place. Most of it's negotiation and just knowing some of the steps that you need to know.
Okay, man, good information. Good information, Dave. Every time, we talk, it could be an hour conversation. I'm always learning something when you talk. I'm just like, okay. I got screwed over when I did that. I got screwed over when I did that, but we don't know what we don't know. But now I know. So we're going to jump into a couple of questions. David, I see a lot of questions about CMP. I mean, VA. We need to be asking Dave more and more about this VA home loan, especially Joe Hernandez. If you're a realtor, reach out to Dave. You might
Yeah.
be able to connect and do some. He is a plethora of knowledge. He's like a VA home loan walking dictionary. If I'm pretty sure you look in his high school scrapbook, he probably went to prom like with a book that said VA home loan on it or something like that. All
It's
right.
funny.
Justin, hey Dwayne, I appreciate all the information you put out there. Thanks for your hard work to help us veterans. Not a problem, Justin. One little fun fact here. David, he reached out to me on LinkedIn and was like, "Hey, I see what you're doing." We had some conversations. I think in a matter of weeks, we jumped on a live stream.
Yeah.
He actually flew down from Chicago last month, uh, came to the house, met him in person, and we were like, "Hey, this, veterans being educated. One thing, veterans, they'll say, a lot of times they'll say, oh, I'm a veteran. I shouldn't have to pay for this. I shouldn't have to pay for that. Look, we're doing this. This is free. Only thing veterans have to do is log in for an hour and invest your time. I just did a live stream last Wednesday, I believe it was, myself and another former Raider. All this information is free. David has a YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel. You can just binge watch this like Netflix, and get some really good information. So, hey, just invest your time. But Justin, yeah, it's my passion for educating veterans, and Dave has a passion for educating veterans on the VA home loan process. I could possibly be in a hot tub right now, but we want to bring you guys guys and ladies, this information. Okay. All right, Rico. My claim was submitted early November, and my tinnitus CMP has been scheduled, but I still have not heard anything regarding my mental health CMP. Is that normal or anything that I can do on my end? Veterans, understand one thing. Just because you submitted a claim does not mean you're going to get an exam. So, Rico, I have 2 or 3 other questions. The other condition that you claim, the mental health condition you claim, were you treated in service for it? Were you claiming it due to combat? Do you have a Purple Heart, Civil Star? Did you serve in Afghanistan or Iraq? So you have to think about, like I stated earlier, the 5 ways of service connection. Where does that mental health condition that you claim fall under the 5 ways of service connection? If it does not fall anywhere, they're going to deny the claim, meaning there's no reason to schedule a CMP exam. Okay. All right. Moving right along. Bernard says BVA remand claims to RO July 25th. I'm 76 years old. Will I be expedited? How long? Bernard, I did a video about, I can't, I got over, man, Dave, I got like over 400 videos and live streams. But I did a video about how to get your claim expedited, what, priority claims or something like that. Check that video out. Rico, if I didn't, thank you for the donation. I'm like 100 miles a minute this evening, so I do apologize. Okay. Let's take another one here. File for increase due to rating change in law. Now I have CMP, even though I submitted 4138 stating I just wanted to be adjudicated to conform to new laws. Yeah, Twisted. It's when you say new laws, I don't know of any new laws out there for increase, but they got to figure out the residuals of what your service connected for, and if you meet that the next higher percentage. Okay. All right. So Dave, we were talking about the new interest rates. Would you happen, I know you have some internet issues, you may not have this information. Do you have any numbers of, let's just say, if someone would have purchased a house and interest rate was 9% and now it's 5%, in that equity, what would that look like? or if I'm
Definitely.
even
Yeah, I
asking
don't
it
have
right.
that, but I'll tell you that 1% interest rate drop can save you. It can save you up to a couple $100. The higher your loan balance, the bigger savings you get, right?
Mhm.
So if you have $100,000 loan, you're going to see very minimal. But if you have a much higher balance, uh, let me see if I can pull something up and take a look at it.
Okay.
So the
Right.
average price point across the United States is 400,000. Okay,
Mhm.
so rates earlier this year were around 7.5 consistently. Okay, so that basically puts you at 28. So 400,000 at 7.5 is about a $2,800 payment. Now you drop that down to 5.875. It drops it down to 2366.
Hmm.
I think that's a big savings. That's a couple $100 in your pocket.
Right. Right.
That's $433, but who's counting?
Now I know you were saying something about the equity. If
Mhm.
you'd have bought, like you just bought and having that equity and the interest rates drop and you refinance. What did you mean by that?
So what I meant by that is that if you let's say you bought if you bought a year ago and you bought a place for 400,000 and you bought it at 7.5, like we talked about, right? When rates drop naturally, what happens is that the values go up because there's going to be bidding wars, because that's when people want to get back into buying a home, right? Because
Mm,
everybody's out there waiting for interest rates to drop. But that's the wrong thing to do, in my opinion, because when rates drop, it becomes too competitive. And then veterans, for whatever reason, and I teach this across the country, people think that VA loans with 100% down payment, like no money down, are just not competitive. I mean, it happened to me in purchasing my place, and I'm in the business, and this is all I teach. All right, so uh, you just have to be an advocate, but like that, but when in a very competitive market, it's like what's going to happen in spring, I think is going to be crazy this coming year, because rates, according to what the Fed has said, are going to drop. So you lock in the equity when you buy now, right? So let's say if you bought at 400, the next person a year later is buying it at 450, and they may get a lower interest rate, but the payment is still higher. You're refinancing a $400,000 balance at the new rate, so your payment's even lower than theirs by another $350 a month. That's what I mean by that. It's like historically, right? Values go up and down. Lately, it's been up. The mortgage crash of 2007, 8, we don't really see that happening, and people keep thinking it's going to happen. The reason why I say it won't is because everybody that's buying a house actually qualifies for a home, right? We're not doing ninja loans, no income, no asset loans, where you just literally like sign. You don't even have to sign anything anymore. You digitally sign it, but you put your name, your social, and how much you make, and they just give you a loan. They don't do that anymore, right? People that are buying are qualified um, to buy a home. So even foreclosures that do come up, guess what? They buy them at market rates because housing is limited right now. So there's bidding wars on those as well. Sorry, just went off on a rant there, but
No, 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 no. Good information. I know that you were talking about that earlier, and so I
yeah.
just wanted to make sure we address it. For everyone that's looking to purchase a home, refi, I just put David's contact information to sign up for his consultation calendar, and I'll be dropping that throughout the night. Dave, do you know you got appointments like at 9:30 p.m.?
I I do get them that late. Yep.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, I
all
do.
right.
I do. No, I get them. We get them pretty like early in the morning and late, and then also on the weekends. Sometimes I turn it off because I got a little one.
Yep.
And one thing to note too, guys, for everyone that's out there, is that I'm licensed in all 50 states and the provinces. So
Oh,
if you need help anywhere across the country, because I think somebody asked like, can you help in Hawaii? Yes, I can. We can definitely do that. And I'll answer one of the questions ahead of time, is that because this is a good question actually, is that someone asked like, How long is a pre-approval good for? It's good for 90 days. So you have 90 days in order to use your pre-approval. And after the 90 days, the lender should not be repulling credit. They should just let it coast. And then when you find a place again and it's been past the 90 days, then you repull credit. And yes, you need an actual credit check. You can't be a soft pull.
Yeah.
We get those all the
So
time.
that doesn't mean, you get that pre-qualification and that 90, you're in that 90-day window. It's like, oh, they're not going to put it again. Let me go down here and buy this
They
new
sh-
Dodge Charger Hellcat.
well, listen. Dwayne, you made a great point. This happened to a client recently.
Oh,
Once you've been pre-approved and you go and buy a car or you open up credit cards, you get a personal loan, whatever it is, anything financial related where credit inquiry is going to be generated, you could disqualify yourself from buying a home. And remember, a $750 car payment is $100,000 on a mortgage. What appreciates and what depreciates. Keep that in mind.
ooh.
Dropping
Spoken
knowledge today.
spoken like a true champ. All right, let's get back to some of these questions. And I'm seeing a lot of VA questions. Let's get some of these VA home loan questions in here, okay? All right. So Justin, does an award like Purple Heart or Combat Action Ribbon add any weight to VA claims? The only time it adds weight to VA claims, Justin, if we're trying to concede combat or something. So obviously, if you got to, see Combat Action Ribbon or CIB, something like that, Purple Heart, Silver Star, all the development stops there. Yep, combat and move on to the next stage. If I have claims pending, go ahead, Dave.
I was going to say something about the Purple Heart. If you're on active duty and you have a Purple Heart, from a VA home loan perspective, you don't have to pay what's called the VA funding fee. So most of the time, people know 10% or higher disability rating, you don't pay a funding fee. But if you're on active duty and you have a Purple Heart, you don't pay the funding fee.
Wow. Now, is that the only requirement for active duty personnel? They
just have to submit we just had some client that we closed on. They just submitted their Purple Heart award, and then we submitted that to the VA, and they waived the funding fee.
Okay. All right, cool. If I have claims pending and just got awarded 100% PNT, should I drop the pending claim? One thing, and I want everybody to hear this. I don't advise veterans on what they should do with their claim. I educate veterans on the VA claims process, myself and my team, and then you go out and you do that. I would never tell a veteran to pull a claim if they got 100%. That would be totally up to you. There are some misconceptions that, I got this claim, they're going to go back and take my 100% PNT. I think that's just a scare tactic. As a rater, I've seen many vets. I've rated claims where vets came in and filed a new claim, even though they were 100% PNT. Now, I will tell you this. If you decide to do that, know what you are doing. Just don't go out willy-nilly and do it, but know what you are doing if you decide to do that, okay? All right, Josh says, just a heads up, those who use TRICARE or transitioning service members filing BDD can access C&P exam results utilize the TRICARE patient portal. Ooh, okay. That's good to know.
That's cool.
Yep, he says instead of filing a FOIA request. Okay, so I'm assuming, Josh, TRICARE patient portal. I wonder if that's for the CMP examiners or if they go off post or base and use a third party like a VES service or QTC or something like that. Will those be uploaded to that portal? Why is it so hard to get migraines covered under presumptives when it states so under Gulf War illness? It's the examiner, the CMP examiners. You got some really good ones that are advocates, and then you got some that think that this is a welfare system for veterans. And I'm pretty sure their denial rate is a lot higher than their approval rate. But going back to what Josh said, I want to bring up something. Did a video. There's I think it's called a bill that was just passed, the Wounded Warriors Access Act. And what they're saying, this bill was passed by Democratic and Republican. And what in this bill, the VA has to create a system to give electronic access to veterans claims folder to the veteran. And I guarantee you the VA is going to drag their feet on this. But guess what? VHA, Veterans Healthcare Administration, is already doing it. So they only have to mirror what VHA is doing, because we all know about My Healthy Vet, the blue note. We log in, we see our progress notes, right? So you have to go to release of information. Back when I did it, you had to go to the library in the VA Medical Center and fill out, I think, it was a FOIA request, and then they give you access and you log in and you have access. So VBA can do the same thing. So as soon as they do that, I would definitely be doing a video letting everybody know. But I bring that up because I want to make everybody aware of it. And if you go to a VA town hall meeting, VBA town hall meeting, ask them. But I guarantee you, they're going to give you the politician answer. Oh, we're trying to do this, and then throw back at them and say, hey, the VHA has been doing it. Just mirror what they're doing. Oh, well, you see, we have the protocol. It's always going to be, excuse my French, some BS, because they know as soon as you get access to that folder, oh man, you talk about a game changer. It's like the what is that statue, David, of the justice system? And she has they give veterans access. That blindfold gonna come up on that other eye, because you're gonna be like, oh man, they got all this information. So definitely, I got some topics that I feel that are hot topics. They may not be pretty topics, but I like to talk about things that some of them I've seen from working within the VA, the M21 manual reference and the 38 CFR. I think a lot of veterans get hung up on the COLA videos, the cost of living allowance videos. But if you feel you should be 100% and you can't get to 100%, why worry about the COLA allowance? I'll be worried about, hey, getting these migraines on the Gulf War. What's the blueprint for that? Okay. Do one more here. My VSO said personal statement and Dr. Nexus was not needed and really doesn't make a difference. True or false? Barry, you might want to go get you another VSO, because I'm not saying your VSO don't know what they're talking about, but for somebody to make that statement doesn't make a difference. There's hundreds of VA raters. So basically what that VSO is saying, they know every single rating specialist, and they know if it's going to make a difference to that individual rating specialist. Now, when I rate it, I read it. I just did a video on personal statements. And Dave, I gave the blueprint of a personal statement. And I still had comments because that person didn't watch the whole entire video. And I did it on purpose. I did it that way on purpose. I put it towards the end and people still miss it. That's what I'm saying. These videos, Dave and I on here, once a month? We're talking about this VA home loan. We're talking about this VA compensation. We have YouTube channels. You can watch this stuff for free. David, I'm not doing consultations at 9:30 at night. I've been up this morning ever since 4:30 every morning, shooting YouTube videos, looking at topics, doing research.
Yeah.
And we as veterans, you got to invest that time. There's nothing wrong with having a VSO or lawyer. More power to you. But you still have to put in that work. You still got to put in that work. Okay. So before I go on to this next question, Dave, I'm getting a lot of questions about VA claims process. Is there anything that, from VA home loans? Because, I could just sit here and ask you questions all day.
Listen, I teach a basic military, finance related thing, and it's 6 hours long. But the thing is that because I kind of, it's the VA handbook is public information, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's how do you read that 616-page document? 1, not fall asleep. 2, understand it. And then 3, how do you apply what they do? Because they're very vague for a reason. That's why veterans have the highest chance of home ownership out of any group out there,
Mm.
because the VA actually makes the VA home loan process surprisingly as easy as it can be. Not maybe from the VA disability side, but from the VA home loan side, they're actually really good, and they do answer a lot of questions, and they walk you through a lot of things. Like, we have ever issues, we call the VA, and they're like, they'll knock it out in a heartbeat. Now the
Now,
challenge,
when you
huh?
call a VA, where are you calling? When you say you call a
So
VA?
you call it actual VA regional loan center. So not like, you don't call it the
Mm.
the VA regional loan center. And I believe the VA home loan guarantee program is
Yep.
the only program in the government that makes revenue.
Mm. I know of loan guarantee. I know, not few. I know a couple people that I think they still work in loan home guarantees. Not a huge department,
Yeah, yeah.
but
They have
yeah,
regions.
yeah, yeah. Well, I know when I worked at St. Pete, they had uh, a home loan guarantee there, and they had
Oh
some.
wow.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I didn't know they generate revenue. I know they do some other things outside of that, like when it comes to upgrades, if they're trying to, if a veteran needs a walkway or assistance, pool equipment assistance. Go ahead.
Yeah, they do that, which reminded me before I forget. They do the specially adapted housing grants,
Yep.
right? So,
Mhm.
lenders like me don't do them. You're gonna have to reach out to the VA to do those specially adapted programs, which are awesome because they'll retrofit the house for what you
Yep.
need. So, yeah, definitely look into that. Don't talk to a lender. Talk to the VA because they are good. The VA regional loan centers are really good.
I did a couple. I did a few of those ratings, not a couple. I did,
Oh,
I did
really?
a few. Yes, and I tell you, automobile allowance, all that stuff, and when you start applying for these things, and again, this is where this education comes in. Understand the criteria. A lot of vets think, "Oh, I had this, I have that." They denied me, and I'll ask, "Did you meet the criteria?" Well, you see, no, no, no. That's a yes or no question.
Explain.
It's not, let me tell you my story because I'm not going to go look it up. I know where to go and find it, but I'm not going to look it up. I'm asking you, did you go and look it up? And do you meet the criteria? Well, what you see, what it had happened was, and
You
I'm
see
like,
what happened
no,
was
I'm
there I
like,
was.
no, yeah, I'm like, no, you have to go and look at this. And the VA, they change these regulations, sometimes. Someone left me a comment the other day and said, "Hey, Dwayne, can you do a video on the updated bilateral factor from April 2023?" And I'm like, what? I'm like, what? Give me a little bit more information, what are you talking about? So I think I know what they're talking about. And if it's that, it was updated a long time ago, not April 2023. But I'm still going to do the research because, it got my wheels are turning a little bit. Dave, before we get back in this Q&A, and I know you talked about this last month, the month before. Can you explain if, and if so, how can someone take over a VA home loan that's not a veteran?
Oh, assumable. All VA home loans are assumable. Yeah, this is a good one because a lot of people don't know about this, and I have a whole video on it on my VA housing education YouTube channel. So basically, let's say, for example, Dwayne has a mortgage for $500,000, and he uses VA home loan, right? I'm looking at Dwayne's home that's for sale. I said, "Look, Dwayne, I'm also a veteran. Can I assume your 2.25% interest rates, and I'll give you your VA home loan back? I'll put my benefits onto your mortgage." That's what an assumable is. You can assume someone else's mortgage. All VA home loans are assumable. Now, there's a couple things that you definitely need to understand about these things. That in this same example, let's say Dwayne was selling his place for 600,000 and the mortgage balance was 500,000. That means I would have to come up with $100,000 in cash to make up that difference, right? And so that's just how the assumption process works. And that's like a very basic level. You still have to meet all the requirements for it. There's definitely a lot of technical components to it. But one thing that I want to kind of branch off from there is a lot of veterans are kind of in this. uh, in a situation where they're mentally married to their 2.25 or super or really low interest rate, and they have a home that they don't like. They want to move. But how do you move when your payment doubles when you have the same mortgage balance, right? It's tough for people to do that. So here's some things to think about. One, you can use your VA home loan unlimited times. Two, you can have multiple VA loans at the same time. We just did a closing with a client that had 3 VA home loans. 3. Now, at some point, you exhaust what's called your entitlement and you have to put a down payment. So let's go with that example. You had a great interest rate, you used all your entitlement to buy a property, but you got a lot of equity in it. You can take out a second mortgage on your primary residence with the VA home loan and use it for a down payment on another VA home loan. Just like that.
Okay.
But if you're thinking about it, get a home equity line of credit ahead of time because it makes one, life a lot easier. Two, you don't have to draw a balance on a home equity line of credit. So you can get a $200,000 line of credit on your home and you have to take out $0 and it will cost you pretty much nothing.
Okay. So everyone, I just put David's YouTube channel link in the comment section.
Thank you, Dwayne.
I thought I subscribed, but I didn't, but I just did subscribe. So you should get an email saying Dwayne Kimball.
One more.
Yep. So he has 104 videos out there, our live streams. We stream live on his channel as well. Really good topics, VA loans and condos, easier than you think. New VA funding fees, student loans and VA loan qualification, VA loan assumptions, consumer edition, what not to do during the home buying process.
Yes.
I think we just talked about those. Get that pre-qualification. Yeah, don't go get that Hellcat. Call me. I'll talk you out of it.
Listen,
talk you out of it.
Like if life events happen and you have to buy a car, because it definitely happens in transactions, please talk to your loan officer and come through with a game plan, right? It's just like your disability process. Is like you have to understand the whole piece. Wait until the end. Watch the whole video. And then you're going to understand it. Same thing should be, especially when you're buying such a large asset, right? Because it helps your VA disability helps you with your home buying. No funding fee with the VA with that. You don't pay property taxes depending on your rating and where you're buying. That is huge, man. I mean, depending on like I'm in Illinois, taxes on a $300,000 home are like $10,000 a year. $12,000 a year. That's $1,000 a month that you can be wiped away. That makes the life and home ownership a lot easier, right? If you don't do the research, it's huge. Yeah,
and I'm saying that's cheap for the Chicago area.
Yeah. Well, Chicago is actually pretty good. It's just outside all the other counties are just crazy expensive to live in. But it varies across the country, right? Like I got some place in North Carolina. It's like $800 a year, and I'm like, that's insane. Good, but yeah, everywhere it's a little bit different. But it all shifts. So
yeah. So make sure you go out to his website. I'm sorry, his YouTube channel and subscribe. Looking at it now, a lot of good information. I put that in the comment section. Also, I put his calendar link. So if you got questions, you want to schedule a consultation with him or his team, you got that link in there as well. I'll put it in there again. As we're talking, I forgot to do it when you were talking. I wanted to get your YouTube channel in there. So let's get back to a couple of questions here.
Yeah.
I watched the majority of your YouTube CMP playlist to prepare for my exam this weekend and already have my DBQ and supporting documents printed out. Thank you for the content and value information. I'm gonna tell you something, veterans, you're going to have to start holding these CMP examiners feet to the fire. Because a lot of veterans are going in there and they're saying, hey, the exam was only 5 minutes. And I'm like, that's your fault. Because I did a video on how to prepare for a CMP exam and what to take and what questions to ask. Because if you go in for an increase, let's say in migraines, and you're 30%, you feel you meet that 50% criteria, and the doctor doesn't ask you, does your migraines or headaches interfere with your employment? That's the 50% criteria. So why not bring it up? They ask you, say, hey, Mr. Veteran, Miss Veteran, you got any other questions? Yeah, doc, on the DBQ, I think it's box 17 or 18 or maybe 28 or something like that. You didn't ask me if my migraines interfere with my employment. Let's check that box right there. Okay. That's what I'm talking about, holding individuals accountable. Dave, I did a video. I don't know if you saw it, where
I
veterans are
watch all the
saying,
videos. I get
oh,
notified.
hey, I appreciate it. But they were saying, oh, I went to the exam about my back and the doctor didn't use, I'm going to say gonometer, but that is not the correct
Yeah, I know what you're
pronunciation.
saying.
Somebody told me that. I'm like, okay. Gonometer or something like that. But anyway, so I did a video, and guess what I did? I went out to YouTube and I was like, hey, you can get a pack of 3 different sizes for $7.99. Guess what? I'm going in for a joint exam, and they're saying, oh, we don't have one. I'm just going to eyeball it. Don't worry about it, doc. I got you covered. Boom, here you go. Do you need to
But don't reach
6
too
inch?
fast.
Yeah, exactly. Don't bend over. Yeah. But, you shouldn't have to do that. But again, you have to hold these individuals accountable. I went to a physical therapist, and they would measure my range of motion. They measured my range of motion. And I didn't say anything about the measuring tool. And she said, oh, deflection is 55 degrees. I said, okay. You sure? She said, yeah, I eyeballed it. All right. Can we use the gonometer? Gonometer. Okay, I don't think I'm saying it right. And it took like 5 minutes to go find one. I'm like, this is a physical therapist's office. They should be laying all around, She went and got it. We redid the measurement. And I asked her, I said, hey, when you eyeballed it the first time, did I bend forward? Was it the same? She was like, yeah. It was 30 degrees off. And if you're going in for service connection, let's just say for the back, that's the difference between 40% and 10%.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Eyeball that, and a lot of veterans don't know that. These are the videos that I'm putting on my channel. And guess what? They don't get a lot of views. And they go in there, Dwayne, I'm going to do a high-level review because they eyeballed my range of motion. It's your fault because I told you, I gave you the inside scoop. I used to see those exams. And guess what? When the exam comes back to the regional office, veterans are upset at the rater. Don't be mad at the rater. Be upset with the examiner because guess what the examiner said they did in that exam? They used the gonometer. Was a gonometer used to measure the range of motion? And they checked the box, yes, and they never did.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Can you record your CNP
You know
exam?
what? I've been asked that question, and some veterans said they actually did. I'm kind of shocked, but I guarantee you this: if it's an examiner that is not an advocate for you, oh, they're gonna definitely tell you no.
Yeah.
Because they don't want no proof. They don't want no proof that they screwing you over.
Yeah.
And that's what raters. That's the only thing the raters have to go off of is that CNP exam. I didn't know if the examiner used the gonometer, gonometer. Somebody corrected me, but anyway, you know what I'm talking about, right? And that's all. If the examiner marked on there that they used it, now what can the veteran do? Hey, Mr. or Miss Rater, I went to this exam. The doctor did not use the measuring tool and it's in the 38 CFR. And I put that 38 CFR in the video. Now, if I was still rating and I saw that reported by a veteran, I'm requesting another exam. But I can tell you this: these new raters today, they're rolling with it. They're not looking at half the stuff. Okay, and it's sad. It's definitely sad. Okay, let's keep going. Dave, this is a gentleman said, Mr. Hernandez. He was he's a realtor in South Texas. Yeah.
Joe, hit me up. Yeah, I was originally infantry, but then switched to more of a, kind of a hotel kind of establishment.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So Joe, let us know if you sold Cold Stone Steve Austin, his ranch down there in South Texas. Let us know if you were the realtor that made that deal happen.
That's
All
so
right.
funny.
Barry,
got it.
CMP for tinnitus in mid-August. Haven't heard anything. Submitted a DBQ 3 years ago with evidence for major depressive disorder that was unrelated to tinnitus. Now aware where MDD came from. So did they make a decision on the major depressive disorder from 3 years ago? Will old DBQ hurt my chance for a rating since MDD is a result of tinnitus? Someone asked me today, how long or how old, DBQs can be used. The oldest one I can remember is like a year old. But you get some raters, that's long ago. We need a new updated one, but it's nothing in the M21 manual reference says that, hey, but you have to think about, obviously, if it's a year, 2 years old, some things could have changed. Actually, things could have got worse for you, which will cause you to get a higher percentage. Okay. VA disability night ops. What's Gucci, Dwayne? Love your content as well. Debo. All right, Debo. I'm just going to tuck it in. I know that VA, Debo, let me know if you have a YouTube channel. I think I've seen something, VA Disability Night Ops. I think you got a new channel, but correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to say you have one or you don't, but I definitely appreciate for the support. Let me know if you do have a YouTube channel, and I'll subscribe. Okay. All right. D Skills. Good day, y'all. Okay, he must be from Missouri like me. That's what we say, y'all. My wife and I are planning to buy it in the spring. So, D Skills, are you planning on calling Dave? Setting up that appointment?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, this one is for you, Dave. We finally got one.
For verifiable income, can I use my common law spouse's income alongside? I'm not sure what common law means.
I know they
if you're married, spouse.
Yeah.
You can use spouse's income.
Okay.
Even if a veteran's not working, you can use the spouse's sole income to qualify. FYI, because we have a lot of student veterans we work with, and they might be getting BEH, but you can't use that to qualify for a home loan. And so basically, they're going to school, not collecting any income. Their spouse is gainfully employed. Veteran still goes on the mortgage, and you use the spouse's income to qualify. Just remember a couple of things because we got like a little bit of time left. Disability income can be used right away. Retirement income can be used right away. Child support income takes 3 to 6 months of receiving it on time in order to use it as income, but we take it out of your eligibility day one. So kind of keep that in mind. VA looks at residual income, not debt to income ratio. A lot of the stuff I mentioned is also on my YouTube channel. So take some time, read through it, set up an appointment with us. And I mean, we can knock it out. Like, give me 5 minutes and I can answer like all your questions that you could possibly have, no matter how complex it is. Like I'm the king of just like figuring it out so you know where you stand, right? Because that's where you want to be able to be. Right? Income with the VA loan can be tricky at times, but they are very loose. Like I said, they want you to be a homeowner. And again, if you get denied at one place, it probably is because they don't know what they're doing. Dwayne, we helped a lot of clients in the last 2 months that got denied by multiple lenders, and we were able to get them approved. Now, some people, you might not be in a position where you can be a homeowner today, but you can definitely take steps to get to being a homeowner. Listen, time and money solves everything. If you don't have the money right now, then if you have time, you can fix credit. But all credit's fixed in 7 years anyways, because all negative information falls off after 7 years. There could be a brand new you out there, but you got to take control and empower yourself with the information so you can make those changes.
Yep.
Sorry, Dwayne, I get passionate about this
stuff.
No,
hey, I
love
it. I get it. Yeah. Joe, I do see your questions real quick. Dave, Joe says, Hey, Dave, let's chat. I just put David's calendar. It's linked to his calendar. So definitely make sure you schedule some time with him. Get on his calendar. Okay. I think this one, yeah, this is for you,
The
Dave.
home warranties really need a veterans to receive, No, you don't. So home warranties can be a great option because like you pay 400 to $600 a year depending on where you live. And if you have like mechanical things that go wrong in your home, they will come out and fix it for like $100 deductible. This includes your HVAC system, your washer, dryer, dishwasher, fridge, any electrical equipment. They can be really great, but they can also be just a straight up ripoff. Read
Mhm.
the reviews and know what you're doing on that. Because I mean, you can use the VA loan to pretty much do anything, right? Buy a single family home, a condo, 2 unit, 3 unit, 4 unit building. You want to build a home? You can do that with the VA loan. Custom home, 100% financing. As long as you're eligible and qualified, you can do it. If you own the land, you could just get a construction loan for a VA loan. So you can buy a modular home. You just can't buy an RV. I want to do that too, but not going to happen.
Yeah. I have a home warranty on my home.
Yeah.
I don't want to say the company because I'm not getting any affiliate marketing, but they've came out 3 times, my dishwasher.
Oh, wow.
Now, you have to keep in mind, and I learned this the hard way, okay? And I have it on my rental property as well. So, a tenant moved out and broke the handle on the microwave. So, I called a home warranty. They come out, looked at it, assessed it. Yep, broke handle, and he turned it on and then turned it off. I didn't think nothing of it. So I did a claim on my dishwasher because it wouldn't work. Brand new dishwasher wouldn't work. And he came out. And I said, "Hey man, you came out to the rental property about my microwave." He's like, "Yeah, I thought you looked familiar." And I'm like, you got my claim denied." He was like, because he could tell I'm like, I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" He said, "Hey, I'm gonna let you know what happens with these home warranty companies." I was like, "Okay." He was like, "I couldn't tell you, but your microwave was operable. It still worked. There was nothing for me to fix. We only fix if it's broken. Like if your
Right.
AC goes out and it's blowing, but it's not blowing cool air, then it's broken or it doesn't come on at all."
Huh.
So, like Dave said, read that fine print. I had to cover my pool. The light went out. Guess what's in the fine print that I didn't read? Lights. So I say, "What about the pump?" "Yeah, the pump, but the pump ain't went out yet." I'm like, "Pump, okay, But
Dang.
then they're gonna ask, one thing about the HVAC. My AC went out in my house, brand new house, right? It's under 5 years. It was blowing warm air, wasn't blowing cool air. I make a claim. The guy comes. I say, "Hey, wait a minute. Or you fixed it." So that means they approved. They approved right on the spot. He went outside. He said, "I got to go to my truck for a minute." So he was calling the warranty company. Now I'm asking them when they come out, "Hey, what are you telling that? Let me see what you writing. Did you send it back to that warranty company?" And what they wanted to see, I had to submit maintenance reports. How many times did I get that AC service? They're looking
Wow.
for ways not to pay it. So, just be careful because they'll be like, "Oh, first month free, first 2 months free." Ask specific questions. If my microwave handle is broken, are you all going to fix it, even though it's still operable? Yes or no? No.
No, it's
Dishwasher done work. They came out 3 times, and this guy, the last time he said, "I've replaced everything electrical in this dishwasher." He came out 3 times, and I said, "Wait a minute." So let me see what you sending back, to the warranty company. And the last time he said he suggested it be replaced with a different brand that's something that came out on the market. I was like, "Which brand do you suggest?" And they said no. And so I said, "Well, if I didn't have this warranty, how much it would have cost me. He said, everything I just did, $450, parts and all. I said, now how much is this new washer? He said, about 1,100. And they didn't want to play. And that was the third time they came out. And he replaced the motherboards prior to that. So that was basically the cost of a new dishwasher. And I said, what they're doing, they're just waiting, because when they do go out, they're going to say, oh, we replaced this, we replaced that, we'll give you $200. Stuff like that. So, ask those questions, because I didn't know to ask. And then I was like, wait a minute, I'm getting hip to this now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
But it's just like this stuff, like just like mortgages, just like disability stuff.
Yep.
It's like there's all these quirky things. But you made a good point, and I want to kind of just address something as kind of we wrap up, is that you do have to maintain your home, right? Sometimes people buy homes and think that they're like renting. You own that home, so you have to do a lot of maintenance. And over the next coming months, we're going to be theming out our months, right? So I think our March month is going to be home maintenance, right? If you're thinking about home ownership, you should know some of the basic stuff. What tools do you need around the house? Things cost money, right? Somebody asked, what states? All 50 states plus territories.
I don't know if he was asking which state are you in, which state is the guest in. That's what I was thinking he was saying.
As I said, I was thinking, what state are you guys? I mean, I changed the whole thing. I said, what state are you guys in? I was thinking, like, what states do you cover?
Okay. But somebody said, Jonathan Taylor, he is in Chicago.
Oh,
I need his contact, trying to buy a home in Hyde Park. Okay. I live not too far from Hyde Park, over on 47 to King Drive. So I know about Hyde Park, the movie theater over there. And I hang out over there. Mr. Taylor, I just put his contact information before we close out. I'm going to put it in here again. I'm going to put his calendar link. Okay. I put it in here 3 times. Make sure you scroll down. If you're watching this after the fact, his Calendly, that's the link where you can schedule a consult with him. I'm just going to go through Real Dave to give some shout outs to people who donate. Kevin, thank you. You were on last week. Thanks for all the support. Recently got approved for TDIU. I got my knowledge up by listening to your videos. Not a problem. Dave and I, we got a passion for this, and we want all veterans to win. Right. Annette Baker, how are we doing? We need to talk, Annette. Hadn't talked in a while. Got to get caught up. She has been a long supporter, has been in all of my training sessions, like for the last 2 years. She's even been in my trainings when I got in trouble with my wife for staying online too long, going over like an hour or 2 hours, So here's Dave's link again. Everyone, make sure you go out, schedule a consultation with him.
It's free.
Free. I'm just trying to go through, see if we got any other. No. Okay, yeah. Chris, thanks. Another huge support. 86 people and only 42 likes. Let's get these likes up. Okay, we're down to 85. We were at 106 here. So let's get the likes up. Definitely. Also, here's David's YouTube channel. It's VA Housing Education, serving those who serve. Comprehensive VA home loan education and support. Sound like a commercial. Yeah.
That's the truth, not a commercial.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all we do. I mean, that's how you give back, right? I mean, I really, up until 7 years ago, and I've been in the business for a long time, I didn't really focus on the military. And I don't know why. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, a lot of people in my unit were asking me, hey, can you help do a presentation? And then I'm all of a sudden what have I been doing?
Yeah.
So I gotta give back to the to the brothers and sisters out there.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm stuck. I cannot go. Okay, there we go. I was clicking the wrong one. So everyone, thanks for chiming in. VA Disability Night Ops. Yeah, I'm gonna subscribe to your channel.
I subscribed as well.
See what you're doing, and we figure out some out. I know I had an individual in my training session, and he's here, in the Florida area. So we are going to I'm gonna jump on his live stream, and hopefully once it gets up and going, Dave, we could bring you on because that'd be another
Yeah.
platform. And like Dave said, this is free. A lot of people say, "Oh, the sharks this and sharks that." It's people that have been following me for years, and watching my videos, watching my YouTube videos, and purchased the book. And they were like, "Hey, I'm at 100%. I went from 90 to 100%, and I've never talked to them on the phone." So if you can get your percentage by watching your videos, by watching my videos, and never calling me or becoming a client, hey, that's awesome. That's what the videos are here for. Okay, so same way with the VA home loan. You don't call Dave, you go out and purchase that home, and you get hit with, you show Dave that
Closing
CD, the
disclosure.
closing disclosure. He see
Oh
all them
man.
fees, and he was like, "Man, just like you said, Dave, just a free phone call. All you had to do was
Yeah.
call and ask, and
Don't get tricked by
see what's
marketing.
what."
Yeah, don't get tricked by the fancy marketing from these mortgage companies. Guess who's paying for that? You
Us.
are.
Yeah.
Right. You are paying for that because they charge crazy fees. That's why.
Yep,
So,
most definitely. So make sure you go out, you subscribe to my channel. If you hadn't subscribed to Dave's channel, VA Night Ops, he says he has a channel. Let me make sure I get that right. VA Disability Night Ops. Okay, I'm gonna go and
yeah,
check that out as soon as we wrap up, and get this free information. Because once you subscribe, every time Dave and we go live, you'll get notified, and jump in here and ask some questions. We didn't get through everybody's questions tonight, but this won't be the last time that we'll be doing this. Dave, I go ahead and give you the last words.
no, I appreciate everybody. Again, guys, if you're thinking about home ownership, right now is the time to do it. Some people think the rates are still high, but I'm telling you guys, you'll be able to refinance later. Just like all the people that are homeowners before the rates dropped to 2.25, they were able to take advantage of that. It creates stability and also gives you something to do on the weekends, like cut the grass.
I hope everybody just didn't hear that. I was subscribing to VA Disability Night Ops channel, and then the music started playing. I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute!" What's going
That's funny.
on?
Well, yeah, thanks
Yeah.
everybody for coming in. I appreciate everything, and I'll talk to some of you guys soon.
Okay. All right. Take care, everybody. Thanks for chiming in.